All right, so Mayans MC Season 4, Episode 4. Now, I'm going to say it was the best Mayans episode I've ever seen in my life. It wasn't. But I feel like it had some vital information that the previous 3 episodes really didn't speak of or dwell on. And I think that these implications will lead into confrontations throughout this season and really where this story is going to go. So that part of episode 4 I really enjoyed. I actually watched it a couple times just to make sure that I got anything and everything out of this episode that I got. And I feel like there is, some leading points that it is making that we will see that will choices. And let me just put it this way. Choices in this episode will lead to either disaster or redemption for a lot of these characters. And that to me was the most interesting part of this episode. But I'll go and I'll say this as an SOA fan and as a Mayans fan. The one thing that has been consistent throughout is when it comes to the Mexican cartels, there was a certain level of respect and fear that the Mayans and the SOA had for those organizations. It was almost like messing with them was messing with death. And we saw that early on when it come to Mayans and the Glendo operation. But then it just kind of felt like when it comes to this Banquero, that Alvarez is kind of taking a really flippant approach about killing Randall, his accountant, who knows about all of his foreign bank accounts. I mean, that to me would normally in any other season would horrify Alvarez. But he kind of was, like I said, really flippant when it come to his response to Conche. Conche straight up admitted, hey, this is probably death for all of us. What you did in this room was death for all of us. It shocked me that there was no repercussions or even a scolding by Alvarez. Even though, of course, Randall got what he deserved. I don't dismiss that at all. Manny, Easy, and Angel were very clear about that. They were not at any ways conflicted with what they did, and rightfully so. But it really shocked me as Alvarez, someone that is head of Santa Padre and really of just Mayans in general, that he would be so calm and relaxed and maybe not tell them, hey, maybe put your personal feelings aside for business in this way, and your personal decisions really, even though what they did was the right thing to do, still left repercussions for Mayans as a whole when it come to Banquero. And it shocked me that Alvarez was so open about it to Conche, about how he really didn't care what Banquero thought. That shocked me, absolutely shocked me, because I feel like, and I'm not a big Conche fan, but I feel like Conche actually, had the right point of view when it come to that situation. So, I mean, I don't know about that. It was very strange to me to see Alvarez's response to that. Now, as far as this approach that they're making, where they're trying to mix this easy Jack's kind of point of view, the vision for the clubs that they had, for their respective clubs, and that only they were the ones that could lead their clubs into the promised land, was very disappointing. It's, I expect this from maybe certain members of, the Santa Padre, because they've seen what Easy can do. They know that he's very capable. They know he does have specific vision. But Alvarez and Easy have always had this unsteady relationship. They have always had this relationship where Alvarez never fully trusted Easy. So the idea that he not only made him vice president was stunning to me, but to go to the point of really comparing him to Jax, as though he had a vision for this club that nobody else has, not even Alvarez, which is shocking to me, in that if Alvarez notices this vision that Easy has, then obviously Alvarez has that same vision as well. So I don't really know or like the way they are portraying the, connection between Jax and Easy in that way. I kind of felt like Jax kind of led his club down a road to ruin at points. Something that I feel like maybe when it come to Sons of Anarchy that he got let off on simply because he was the main protagonist. But he didn't always make the best choices. He was ruled by really, I won't say greed, but really revenge, and really at times didn't even care about his own brothers. Now, are we really going to want Easy to go down that road? I could clearly see that happening. But I don't know if we should have the connection between Easy and Jax. I don't think it needs to be so clear where that they have to point it out to us. Because I don't want Easy going down that road. I want to see a different story. Not the one story that I saw before with SOA. I want to see the story of Easy with Mayans. Something completely and totally different. Which it doesn't look like we're going to get anything different. It looks like maybe they're going to just replicate, change in without it being Jax. Instead, it's Easy. I don't like that. I don't like that road that they're taking with this path. I was kind of hoping that would be more Angel. That if they were going to go down that story arc, it was going to be like an Angel that was going to kind of do that. But it looks like it's fully and totally now Easy is the main protagonist. And he is going to lead his brothers down the exact same path as what Jax did for his. And that path is the only righteous path that these clubs can go down and only Jax and Easy are capable of this. The Messiah-like figures, I guess you could say, which I don't like in any story. I'll be honest with you. I don't like that in any story. I like flawed gray area characters that aren't seen as messiahs in a lot of different ways when it comes to my television viewing habits. As far as Easy is concerned, though, we can say, well, he's leading. But then at the same time, it kind of feels like he's turning against Santa Padre. And I say that simply because of his demeanor towards Bishop. Bishop has been trying to gain the favor and really of Santa Padre, of gaining, he might not be president anymore, but they're all behind him no matter what he decides to do. Easy's kind of bucked that trend a little bit. I feel like he is perfectly content in being really doing whatever Alvarez wants for the club. Now you could say, well, he wants the best for the club. He don't want to go down this road of revenge that Bishop is going down, and I totally understand that. But at the same time, I think that it's going to be a really strange setup for him to be leading a club in Santa Padre, or at least being the vice president of it. But it looks like, according to, the clips of the next episode, that he will be the ones that he will be the one that the club turns to ask what they're going to do about not just the San Bernardino chapter of SOA, but really SOA in general and the war that is to come. So it's very strange that you have a man that is not just leading the charge, but is actively turning on the exact same people that he is leading. And when I say turning, he's turning on Bishop, and they're all in line with Bishop. So therefore, I feel like he's almost turning on all of them at that point. Because if something happens to Bishop, it feels like something's going to happen to all of them. That's my point when it comes to all of that. And I'll say Easy did a really stupid thing in my book. They've talked a lot about fathers and about family in the last couple episodes when it comes to Manny, when it comes to Angel, and so forth. So I kind of felt like maybe it was really naive of Easy to go to Conche and be like, hey man, we're brothers. Let's put the past behind. Conche is not going to put the past behind. He literally not only tried to kill him, but he tried to kill his son. And like he said, that was unforgivable. He's a marked man in Conche's eyes. Conche will never, ever be in line with Easy at all. And I don't blame him. I do not blame him in the least bit. That is something that I don't know how this show is going to figure out. To me, at least to me, as much as I'm a fan of Easy and I'm a fan of Angel and I'm a fan of Santa Padre, I feel like at the end of the day, what they did was extreme and wrong to a certain point. I understand it was to save their specific chapter, or at least they thought it was an effort to save it, and it looked like damning it to a certain extent. But I feel like Easy's in the wrong on this one, and Easy's very naive if he thinks that he could ever get Conche as his friend. Conche will always be trying to not just figure out how to get the demise of Easy, but of Santo Padre as well. And I think Alvarez is very aware of that, and I think Conche just will not stop. And it's going to end up leading, because it's not going to lead to the end of Santa Padre. And it's not going to lead the end of Easy. So it's going to have to be the end of Conche. And which is, I'll be honest, a little sad, because I think he does work as a good antagonist to a certain extent. And he's an antagonist that we can actually see where he's coming from. And I think that's what this show really needs. It needed that antagonist that we really could feel for, could understand that in their point of view, they are the heroes of their own story. That's something that I felt like Galindo never was and never worked for when it came to having that grand antagonist that felt overwhelming, that Mayans MC had to overcome. That's something that SOA was really good about having. That's something that I felt like Mayans up to season 3 had never really experienced. So I'll be kind of sad when Conche goes, but I know he's going to have to go. Now, as far as Galindo is concerned, it looks like they're going to go maybe towards a redemption arc with him, which is a really neat, cool approach, because I really thought that they were going to make him out into this like villain that was going to hunt Emily down and take her out. And it kind of looks like it's actually the opposite of it. It's almost kind of like Galindo has understood, that his flaws, understood that maybe he needs to search himself and maybe find the power within himself to overcome his specific situation. And it's not one of anger and hatred towards what had happened to him. It's one of maybe even possibly redemption, which is going to be cool because, at the end of the day, he is Easy and Angel's brother. And I'm glad that they're not having him go down the path where he is going to be somebody that's going to get in the way of Santa Padre and Easy. At least not for now. I like the redemption arc that they're going with them. I'm curious to see how this LNG or whatever that group, that name of that gang is, how they're going to, face off against Galindo and how he's going to be able to respond. Not really having, the people that like Nestor and a lot of his, subordinates by his side, how he's going to face this gang and overcome this specific situation. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Now, as far as going back to last season, It feels like they're trying to maybe, and I'm a little bit excited about this, rekindle the relationship between Gabby and Easy. Simply because of that one simple postcard about, she's happy. She was able to actually get the internship that she had dreamed of having. And, she was satisfied in it. And you could see that Easy, while happy for her, is still saddened by her loss. And I'm happy for that because I thought Gabby and Easy made a great couple. I loved them as a couple. I wanted it so bad simply because I want the end of Easy and Emily's relationship. Emily reminds me of another Tara. I don't want her any part. I hate any scene that has to do with her. So I am perfectly satisfied with an Easy Gabby relationship. And who knows? We might actually get to see her maybe sometime this season, which is going to be really cool because I know he's been trying to build a relationship with the woman that was at the dog pound as well. So we'll just have to see exactly where that goes. And going back to even Mayans in the crew, it feels like Bishop's days are numbered. It really does. It feels like Bishop is in a death spiral. And anybody who follows Bishop is going to be on that spiral as well. I just wonder if somebody, as much as Bishop has tried to push Tazza away, I just wonder if Tazza will be one of the last ones standing with Bishop. Or if the whole, Santa Padre will stand with Bishop against Alvarez, against Easy. Which that's going to be a struggle within. That we're going to, I think, eventually going to have to see this season of where, they've already declared their loyalty for Bishop. Easy and Hank are one of the only ones that have really shown maybe a wavering relationship to Alvarez. So we're going to get to see some internal conflict between these. And of course, then you've got the Coco conflict that goes into it as well. And it almost kind of feels like Coco is just set for a chance to go into relapse. That's what I see the rest of his story arc for this season going. But it's just I'm just curious to know if Bishop is going to make it the rest of this season. And who is going to be the one that's going to take him out? Is it going to be Easy because they're setting up that hostility between those? Or will it be Alvarez that's going to do it? We know that Bishop is going to be coming to dinner with Alvarez. And we'll just have to see if maybe that's the time that Alvarez just has enough and disposes of this problem that is Bishop now, which I'm going to be sad to see him go. Now, another thing, I don't really understand Alvarez's relationship with Nestor. I know that they were close when they worked for Galindo, but I don't really understand bringing him into the fold because he's already got a conflicted Santa Padre. And then you add Nestor to the fold. I'm like, you're just asking for those guys to hate you by bringing this guy into the fold and making him a part of this Mayans organization. Like, I think it's just a horrible angle that Alvarez is taking if he wants the support of this club. But another thing, like I said, there's a lot of information that we got in this episode that while I don't think it was the best episode we've seen, I feel like it is an important episode simply because of, about the growing resentment that Bishop and Alvarez and Easy have for one another, setting up Easy from the rest of the gang. And actually, really kind of expanding upon Creeper and Gilly's backstory, I think is really important. I enjoyed it when they did this last season with Hank and Bishop. It really made them into characters that I really cared for. Now, Creeper's always been in the back. He's always been guy that's been in the background, but we don't really know much about, but he's kind of a fan favorite in a lot of ways. So I'm glad that we get to understand his, the demons that he's facing on an everyday basis. And it just makes him a more interesting character. It adds depth to the show. The same with Gilly's backstory. I'm really interested in seeing exactly where this is going to go and what this means for the rest of the club in a lot of different ways. Now, ending this long video that I have done, the kill switch clause. I could not end this without talking about the kill switch clause. I am curious to know what this means. This is a clause that is set that under unanimous decision by each specific club that the leader of those clubs has to step down. He said this is, according to Easy, this is a good way to end this problem with Bishop and Conche. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out in the future and how responsive Alvarez is going to be towards this. And just how the rest of Santa Padre will react towards this as well. This is where you're going to get the roll call of who is aligned with Bishop and who is not aligned with Bishop is through this. And of course, who is going to be this dead Mayan? We know that at the end of the credit scenes, we got to see clips of next episode, and there's going to be a Mayan that's either going to die or be significantly injured. I'm posing that it's one of two people. It is either Manny or it is Coco. And I only say that is because Manny's on his way back to Yuma, and Alvarez sent Coco on a mission by himself as well. So I believe it's going to be one of those two. And I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if we see the end of Coco if it is him. If it is Manny, though, we might get to see him in bad shape. But I think that they will find some way to keep him alive. Or at least I hope they will. I really hope they will. Because I would like to see him in the further battles between SOA and Mayans. And of course, we get the Chibs talk, and then we get an appearance from Tig next episode. So that's going to be real fun to watch. But overall, I mean, if I had to give a grade for this episode, I would say maybe 6 out of 10. Like I said, but I feel like even though I might give it a low grade, I think it was one of the more important episodes of this season simply because of the information that it gave us and the setting up of the conflicts that will arise later down throughout this season and maybe further seasons down the road. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. You can catch me on Rumble and Minds as well. So check us out, check Rants us out down there. And as always, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. And let me know what y'all think of this episode in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, guys.